Hello, dadas all over Kenya. Those of you who are watching us in East Africa, it's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. Welcome to the Dadas Show. This is your show. We bring you all issues women. We bring people who will talk about these things, and we make sure that we always provide you with some kind of a solution. At least we begin the conversation towards a solution. So today we want to talk about women and violence. We live in a very violent society, and for a long time we've talked about violence against women. But what happens when women themselves become extremely violent and take it out on their family? So today I'm talking with Dan Matakayia. Have I pronounced your name correctly, Dan?
It's Matakayia.
Matakayia. Yes. Dan Matakayia. Dan, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Dan Matakayia. I'm a police officer currently attached to Interstellar Police Station. Okay. I'm a domestic violence survivor, and as you can see, I'm visually impaired. Yes.
So Dan, allow me, if you can, to just go back. Did you always want to become a police officer? How did you become a police officer? Where are you from originally, and was your dream to become a police officer?
Okay, I'm from Kakamega County, and I had no any dream of becoming a police officer. Really? But you know, I come from a family whereby we are 9 siblings. I'm the 5th born. So when I finished my high school, that was in 2007. So the opportunity came. In 2008, we had just we had a new district, Kakamega East District. So this was the first recruitment. So I just went to try my luck. So fortunately, I went on and I was recruited to the police. Okay. So that's how I became a police officer.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Dan, when did you meet your wife? You know, once you went through the police training, I'm sure you were posted somewhere. How did you run into your ex-wife?
Yeah, after the training at the Kenya Police College, Kiganjo, my first posting was at a police station called Itabo Police Station, which is in Embu County within Eastern Province. So as I was doing my work, normally we have our clients are now the public. So my wife, my ex-wife, was among those people who had presented a case. Who had came to report a case on behalf of her grandma. So that's when we knew each other, and we became our wife and our husband. Okay. Yeah.
Were there any signs at the time when you first met her, when the relationship was beginning? Were there any signs that she was violent? Did she have anger issues? Did you notice anything about her, or this was, you know, was there a warning?
No, at that time there is no any, and I don't know if I was. At one point, you know, you can't even understand. You may not be able to notice those things when you are in love. You know, for me, I never saw any signs of violence, but something that I noticed, she was such a quiet lady. So me, I thought getting such a person, it was a plus for me, because I felt huyu hatutasumbuana. Yeah, I never knew maybe in future she could be the worst person in my life.
So you noticed that she kept things inside. She did not, even when she was angry, she was bottling it up.
Yeah.
She was not talking. She never used to explode. So you never knew what the mood was in the house, or what is that what you mean?
Okay, she was someone, when we had issues, she could keep quiet, hakuwa anaongea ati to bring dramas ama nini. We could solve our issues in a sober way, and then we move on. Okay. But I never knew such people wanaweka kitu ndani. Yeah, then zina explode in the future. Yeah.
So how did it come? Was it a very big fight that led to her assaulting you? What was the context of her coming to the point where she poured acid on you?
At that time, we were in Embu, but in 2012, that's when we got into marriage. We started living together, and at that time, she was pregnant. You know, so the same year in 2012 September, tulibarikiwa na mtoto, and then 1 month later, I was transferred from Itabo Police Station to Kisii Central Police Station. Now you see here, I can't travel with the family because the baby is still too young to travel that long distance. And then where I was heading to, where I was proceeding for transfer, I was not sure whether I'll get a house to be accommodated, you know. So I left her back and I proceeded. 1 month later, nikapata nyumba. Then I settled and I called her to come.
Okay.
So she came, we stayed together for a week. Then the house that I had been given, it was not a conducive one for us, for the young kid, you know, because ilikuwa ile ya mabati. You know, sometimes when it's kuna jua, it becomes too hot. Then usiku,
it's too
cold. So tulika pamoja, then she went back to Mwea now.
So she decided to go back because the situation was not...
Yeah, and because alikuwa amepata job huko Mwea, so I felt hiyo ni poa pia ndio tusaidiane majukumu. But in May 2013, the baby became sick and he was admitted at Kerugoya District Hospital. But 1 week later, he succumbed to meningitis and severe pneumonia. Ilikuwa uchungu sana.
And very fast, kwa sababu ni meningitis.
Because I stayed with the baby in the hospital for a whole week. I could see how he was suffering. Yeah, but ni mpango ya Mungu. And then 2 weeks after the burial, my ex-wife came and told me that she had been advised that we need to have another kid so that the memories of the one we had lost ziishe.
She had been advised by her relatives or her friends?
Yes.
Okay.
So to me, sikukubaliana. I felt uncomfortable about the whole issue because I felt someone somewhere was trying to control now our life. Someone was trying to intrude into our personal life and influencing the decision that we are making as a couple, because we were a young couple that time. So I felt someone was trying to control us. So we talked, we agreed that we can give it a wait, even though it might be a good decision, but let's give it a wait so that someone somewhere else could not feel that he or she is controlling our life.
So for you, it was a question of
where the advice was coming from.
There's no pressure because as a couple, what's the pressure? You are young in marriage, you have time.
Yes.
So there's no hurry.
There's no hurry.
And also I think as a man, you felt a bit not comfortable with the fact that now you are not the one advising your wife. There are other people now talking.
Okay. Because it was not our decision.
Yes.
It was someone else's decision.
Okay.
So I felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened after that?
So she went to Nakuru.
Okay.
To help her brother to run business. So to me, I felt I felt relieved because from Nakuru to Kisii is near as compared to
Embu.
Kisii to Mwea to Embu. So she went to Nakuru and she used to visit me every weekend, and sometimes we used to alternate. She comes this weekend, I go visit her as a couple. But in September 2013, she came, she visited me, we stayed together for 2 weeks. And then 3 days before the incident, we had a disagreement, we had a conflict, whereby she wanted to take the kids' belongings with her to Nakuru. You know, the clothes, na hizo vyombo, they were in my house. So I asked her, why do you want to do so? Akasema tu anataka kuenda nazo. So that's where the conflict began, you know. Then tukagombana, then she kept quiet. So when I saw that she's not talking, namuuliza haongei, I called her mom. Nikamwambia what was happening, then her mom called her to go home. So this material day, the 21st September 2013, that was the day she was supposed to travel. So that day I was on duty, usiku, the whole night. So I came to the house at around 5:30 in the morning. I was so tired, I just went to sleep. Few minutes later, she woke up and poured sulfuric acid on my face and ran away. So I woke up to try and get some water to reduce the burns. But when I stepped on the floor, I felt a shock. She had connected electricity, the heater, and poured water on the floor. So the current was flowing. So when I stepped on that floor, I felt a shock, and I became even more confused. So I screamed, and my colleagues came for my rescue. They took me out of the house, and I was rushed to the hospital.
So, in your mind, there was the conflict big enough for what happened?
No. It wasn't like a big that could lead
necessitate.
To
the, was there
happened.
Violence from you? What is there anything in your mind that makes you think maybe this was deserving, or maybe she felt this was a, you know sometimes you try to go back to a conversation and think, how did I get here? What do you think could have, what did she say made her do this?
When I met her in court, I asked her why she did this to me. She told me that alidanganywa, and I tried to ask her who was behind it, na akuongea tena.
Okay. So basically there were many other people talking in the marriage. That's
yes. I think there's someone else who was advising her or telling her, no, fanye hivi. But at one point I felt that, was it because I refused when she told me that we need to have another kid? Was it that's the time I was trying to kufikiria.
I can imagine. The so
sijui hapo ndio shida ilianzia, you know, huwezi kosa kujiuliza some of those questions.
So the impact of this, what did they say in hospital? How many third-degree burns, or what?
It was 18% third-degree burns. Yeah.
Okay, especially on the face.
On the face, you can see the head, and then you know the
eyes.
The eyes, yes.
So you lost your eyesight?
I lost my eyesight. You know, my face is full of scars, disfigured, but I thank God for life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, she was arrested. Was she arrested? She was fleeing. She fled.
She ran away, but 2 days after the incident, she surrendered herself to the police, and she was charged with an attempted murder.
Okay.
Yeah, the case which is still pending before the court.
Do you think she, because of the current, she had put the kettle and the electricity and everything, do you think that she intended to kill you? Was that the original plan, do you think?
To me, when someone does something like that, it means this is a premeditated matter. So to me, I felt that she wanted to kill me, but now she wanted, maybe after pouring the acid on my face, maybe I'll come out of the bed. When I stepped on the floor, I get shocked, I get electrocuted, so that no one will understand that before the electrocution, I had been burned. Yeah, to me, that's what I thought.
Dan, looking back now, you've had 7 years.
Yeah.
Looking back, the initial shock, of course it was shock.
Yeah, it was.
How have you been able to process what has happened to you? What do you feel about her. How have you been able to process this? Because this is beyond the life-changing.
Yeah, you know, it has taken me time. It's a process, you know, to reach where I am. It has taken me time. It's a process, a healing journey, whereby, you know, when I was at the hospital, the day the doctor told me that, Dan, we are sorry, you will not see again. You know, that day I felt that my life had come to an end, because the only prayer I was making while in the hospital was for God to restore my sight. Yeah. But when the doctor told me, we are sorry, that was so devastating, you know. And the only option that came into my mind was to take my own life. Remember, I'm in the hospital, and luckily enough, nilikuwa hapo 9th floor. So I felt this is the best opportunity to accomplish that mission. So I started contemplating suicide and tried to figure out the best way to do it. So I thought of now throwing myself through the window, mpaka chini, then I die. But you know, I was not seeing. So nikafikiria, what if I threw myself na labda there's a roof next, then nisifike chini. I thought I'll have caused more damage to myself instead of accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. So I sat down and started to figure out now the best way to do it. As I was doing so, another patient in that hospital, who was my best friend, whom I used to work with hapo hospitali, going around, we were just having a conversation. We were just talking at around 2 a.m. Then this guy told me that, Dan, I wish I could be you. You know, to me, I felt like this guy is so crazy, because here I'm trying to figure out how I'll take my own life. And then this guy is wishing that he could be me, you know. I went ahead and asked him, why are you saying so? You know, he told me, even though you are not seeing, but you are sure you will come out of this hospital alive. For him, he was not sure, because he had been diagnosed with leukemia and he had gone to India for treatment and then referred back for home management. Now we were with him at Kenyatta. So that is the only statement that changed my life. That was the turning point. Those words alone gave me hope, and I realized that, okay, if someone else is seeing that I'm worth living, then who am I to question myself or to question God? So at least that is what gave me hope. I just needed someone who is not my family, who is not my relative, just to give me hope. You know, for relatives, nilikuwa naona labda watanidanganya just to make me happy. But I just wanted someone wa nje huko mbali. At that time, all my friends wamekuwa medesert. They were not picking my calls. They felt now I've become a liability to them because of the disability. Now they felt, Dan is now a liability, will be a liability to us. So I just wanted that voice, ile mtu wa nje tu aniambie. So that was the voice that turned my life back.
Physically, I know you told me you've been through very many operations.
Yes.
About how many? Could you just...
more than 15.
More than 15.
And I'm still undergoing treatment.
Yeah.
Yes.
But emotionally, I think that is where the big healing has been, if you ask me. The fact that you are seated here, the fact that you even went ahead to start an organization to take care of men who have gone through violence and abuse from their spouses. I think for me that is tell us about the emotional journey of healing for you.
You know, it was not easy, just living in denial, like I won't make it, you know, the issue of stigma. But the only thing is the counseling I received. You know, I received a lot of counseling, comprehensive counseling, yenye ilinisaidia sana. Because, you know, sometimes unajipea nguvu, but realistically you are suffering. Unaona? It took me time to heal, and it was a process. Going through counseling, I even went ahead and enrolled for counseling because I just wanted healing. And then the other thing that helped me was now reaching out to people, people coming to me at, oh Dan, you have make it, you make it, tusaidie, help us. So I felt now people need me more than I need them. So those are the things that kept me going, na zikanifanya kupata ile motivation ya move on and to conquer the life, you know.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you've gone ahead, I think, even and put together a foundation.
Yeah.
And you are helping men.
Yes.
And you surprised me. You said you get up to tell us a bit about your foundation.
This idea of the foundation came in when I was still in the hospital. Initially, I used to pray for my restoration, ya macho. But after the turning point, now nilikaanza kuomba Mungu anitoe tu hospitali. Na nika promise I'll do something to change what is happening in our society. So the only platform I wanted to, the only way to help people was to create a platform. And that is when I registered the organization. It's called Dan Shieshie Foundation, whereby we want to give men a safe space to talk about violence. You know, I realized the society has labeled men as perpetrators when it comes to domestic violence. But our Jui, men are also victims of violence. So when a man comes out and cries and tells people that he is suffering anakuwa abuse in the hands of the opposite gender, then the society inamchukulia like he's not a man enough. Then there is the issue of stigma. So I felt that being a survivor, having gone through the pain and seen what is happening in our society, I can be part of the change. Yeah, I can be part of the change. So that's what we are doing.
Okay. What has been the response?
The response imekuwa mzuri. When COVID came, we started doing an online counseling, telecounseling, whereby we partnered with Telesky Limited to man the toll-free number. We have a toll-free number, which is 1196, specifically for men. We have other numbers for gender-based violence, but this one was specific. We have it specifically for men, so that we wanted men to feel that now this is where we can run.
Yeah.
We can run to get help. And I can tell you, people are calling. We are receiving over 70 calls per day.
70 calls
over
per day?
70 calls per day. And these people wanataka usaidizi. You know, some of these cases, mtu anataka tu someone to listen to him. Yani umpe tu masikio tu musikize. Hivyo tu mtu atakuwa sawa. Ani ya feel tu there's someone who is taking care of his feelings. Yeah.
Do you I think my last question to you before we go into a break. Do you feel that men are never heard? It's like as if people think that men don't have feelings. They are just supposed to just man up. Wejikaze kimwanaume.
Yeah, men also have feelings. You know, we are human beings. We have feelings, we have emotions, tunaumia pia. But now, the society, haijui hiyo, it has never recognized that men also have feelings. When a man comes out and pours his feelings, the society inachukulia vingine. That's why unaambia you need to be a man, man up, men don't cry. We need to change the whole scenario. We need to tell men they need to cry, because those are some of the statements that will change the narrative. Yeah, because we want men to cry. We want to give them an opportunity to cry, and so that whenever they cry, we know that they'll get help.
Okay.
Instead of them wanyamaze, suffer in silence, getting into depression, and then wanafanya vituko. They kill their loved ones, they kill their children because they don't have someone to listen to them.
Sawa.
Yeah.
We're going into a break. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
That was beautifully told.
Yeah.
A very, very, very candid story. A sad story, but beautifully told with a lot of grace.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're going into a break. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we are talking about gender violence, and interestingly, we are talking about violence against men. On this show, we talk a lot about gender violence against women, but today we have an example of a man who has been through an assault by his wife, and is now an advocate for men, gender violence against men. We are also joined by Lilly. Lilly is a counselor and is a great advocate. Lilly, I called you because I know that this is your subject matter. You are an advocate for men, and so you're very welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Asante sana. My name is Lilly Ambitho. I'm a counseling psychologist, and I'm an advocate for the boy child.
You are. Lilly, you were offset listening to this story. What did you think?
At times it really hurts me and pains me when I feel that the boy child has been left out. The empowering of the girl child has made the boy child be under the table. Mm-hmm. So I've heard that story, and besides the violence, there's so much, maybe that you cannot put on air, but what I've realized, there's so much underlying issues that resulted to that. Yeah, the boy child is under siege.
I know you always say that, and you always come up with underlying issues, but listening to Dan, one of the underlying issues for me that was very clear was that there was a lot of interference. Dan was trying to assert himself as the man of his home, but there seemed to be a lot of people talking. And these people who were talking could have been the problem, could have been the people who influenced his young wife to do certain things. I don't know whether as a counselor you had it or it's just me hearing my own things.
Yeah, people could have given them that influence, but if you look at it critically, there's this separation anxiety. If you look at the kind of job that Dan is doing, there's that separation. So separation anxiety is there, and then they're not living together to know each other very well. You remember Dan is in Kakamega, in Kisii, wherever he is, and the lady is in a different place, living with different people, getting different ideas. And Dan's job status cannot allow them to live together.
Yeah.
So that the idea of not living together and the nature of Dan's job also contributed to it.
Okay. Dan, when I remember us talking and you said you have you noticed a change in your ex-wife when your son passed away. What did you notice? What did you notice was? You said you noticed there was a change when that happened. Would you care to share, or?
Yeah, what when we lost our son, my ex-wife used to like anasikiza watu wa kwao sana, you know. Yeah, and then when we have issues like tunajaribu kusolve, then she just keeps quiet. So sometimes nilikuwa naongea na watu hao na wauliza what is happening, you know, so that to understand what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe kama kuna shida, she's having other problems that zinamsumbua. Yeah, but you know, at that time we never thought of even counseling, you know. In our society, issue of counseling, in fact, agenda deep. When you talk about counseling, watu wanakimbilia kwa pastor, you think of a pastor. And then pia ile perception tu unaona sasa counseling, yani you see ile shida mko nayo, unaona kama haihitaji counseling, you know. You take it for granted. Unaona tu ni kitu kidogo, kumbe hiyo kitu kidogo ndio inakuwa mingi. Unaona, ina pile inakuwa a big issue.
Yeah. Lilly, you always come here and talk about the need for counseling, and Dan, I think now with 2020, because you have been through counseling now, and you know what counseling does, the effects of counseling on a person's life. Lily, could you talk about the need for marriage counseling? I don't know how else I can ask you to say this, but that two people who are living together, when they have issues, should not go to their relatives or to the pastor. And why should they not do that?
Okay, thank you so much. What I would say about marriage counseling, I think it's a necessity. If anything, I think it should be mandatory. Before you get married, you need to go to counseling because you don't know this partner of yours. You need to open up. At some point, I had Dan saying that somebody talked to him that he's better off alive than the other person, and it's therapeutic. So are you getting what I'm saying? Talking is therapeutic. He got something out of it. That is why he changed his life about committing suicide or doing anything bad about the life. So basically, counseling helps somebody make a decision, know yourself, understand yourself and your partner and the way forward. But you know, nowadays people get married, you've not met somebody very well, you don't know that person, because Dan is saying the wife used to be a quiet person. So basically, you don't know the personality of this person. Another thing I've captured from Dan is saying that when they had issues, he was talking to the relatives of the girl.
To the mother.
Yeah, of the lady. Are you seeing he was not involving his family? So in between, as a person, let me say Dan is my son-in-law. He's coming to me about my daughter. Just remember that dual relationship. I'd really tend to go on my daughter's side and give my daughter an advice that will make her look the above person.
Yeah, because even he said that when in the last instance, the mother said, come home, told the daughter, come back home. And that is the day that she left when she had assaulted him.
Yeah. And basically about counseling, you hear Dan was saying that the way he knew the wife was a quiet person. And this quiet person is a person that when you don't talk, you know this person who talks you can get. And if you can relate, let me say we're having an issue with you. We've quarreled. And then we are nil by mouth in the house. Do you know we've not sorted out everything?
Nothing.
These things are piling. And the moment they're piling, when they'll explode, it's going to be so bad. And men tend to keep to themselves. For Dan, maybe he had issues with the wife, and they were talking, he was trying to discuss, and the wife was mute. So for men, they keep quiet. But the moment they explode, it happens. And they keep quiet so that you don't know they go through so much. Women tend to think they are the victims. But even men undergo gender violence so much. But they don't speak out.
70 calls a day.
Yeah, they don't speak out. And the moment they get a platform, you'll realize it is... Women, even sometimes it's a woman who's molesting a man, but she's only screaming on top of the voice. And the man will not say it was me who was being beaten to cover up. But they are suffering. Yeah. Basically, emotionally, physically, psychologically, men are suffering. They need a platform to talk and share, because talking is therapeutic. Remember that just that small talk that was not even counseling helped Dan out. For these men to have a platform that they can talk out, explore, and even cry. I mean, it is okay to cry. It will shoulder off some issues and make you feel, okay, it's normal. And it is normal not to be normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, when men call, what are some of the things that you pick up that are prevalent in the conversations?
I'm not the one who receives the calls, but due to the confidentiality issue, you know, we can't talk about those issues at any platform unless we are given the consent to do so, because we also safeguard the information. We want men to feel comfortable, not to feel like nitaongea kitu alafu nisikie mahali.
So it's a safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Actually, what I was asking was prevalently, is it violence? Is it lack of money? Is it being insulted by the wives? Is it kuchapwa? What are the ones that are normal?
We have those who are wanapitia ile physical violence, kuna ile emotionally, kuna verbal, ile matusi, and then with the current situation whereby watu wengi wame lose job. As a man, maybe you need to play your responsibility, you need to feed these people, and some of these people will never understand that life may change. You need to adjust. So they are always on you. Tunataka hii. So it's ni issue kubwa, it's a big problem. Many of men hata wanatoka nyumbani, so wanatafuta mahali ya kuenda because the environment, that environment hawezi kaa hapo, because environment is full of violence. If it's not physical, it's emotional. There's a lot of violence. So that I've realized even that's why we usually have many men. Anakaa kwa bar the whole night, akuja kwa nyumba akiwa mlevi, alale amke mapema. It's because ataki, maybe hata ataki kukunywa, but because the environment, the situation inamforce akae huko, because that is the only place anapata peace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lilly.
Just to add on what Dan is saying, these things are so emotional to men. It's about finances, it's about conjugal rights, it's about the women have, the noise in the house, not understanding. And the bottom line is that these women have been so much empowered and they have organizations that are supporting them. But you see, the way Dan is saying, they just have a place to pour out. But who is supporting them? Who is giving them that financial, moral support? Have you ever seen an organization? Every time it is women empowerment, sanitary pads, do what? Have you ever seen something that is empowering men? Right now, the NGO that Dan is having is a space that is safe for them. Are you getting it? Just that safe space, but empowering them. Who is empowering the boy child? Nobody is doing that. Me, I feel the government should bring these both genders on board. As you're empowering the girl child, empower the boy child for them to move at par. Because at the end of the day, your daughter that you're empowering will marry my son that has not been empowered. And the life is not going to be easy. And boys keep to the atijikaze kama mwanaume. What is this kujikaza about? I've looked around, I've shopped for this jikaze, I've not found it. This is that parents tell, the society tells you. And nowadays, if you talk about jikaze, these girls have been empowered back they've taken the boy child's job. Nowadays, you see makanga, wanawake wako, mechanics wako hapo, truck drivers wako hapa. Wamekuwa empowered, yes. And the boy child, mambo yake inanyang'anywa tu, they feel inferior. And feeling inferior, keeping quiet, keeping to them. And then when this explode, wewe umekuja na hiyo empowerment yako, and then unamuintimidate, unamonyesha ako hapa chini, and then you are the provider. Because most of the men nowadays, women have money. Sasa mwanaume ananyamaza, hana pesa, anaongea nini? What do you talk in the house?
Dan.
Yes.
Now, besides creating safe spaces, since you listen to men, what more can be done? I think we need to now start thinking. We need to start thinking seriously about what more can we do for our men.
As an organization, currently we are offering the psychosocial support, but because we don't have resources, but with the resources, some of our objective is to empower these people economically so that they can sustain their families and live a better life. We want to support even the victims. We want to support the victims whether medically, and then we want to make these people to understand. You know, we have been groomed kuonekana kama mwanaume you need kufanya kila kitu. Until now, even women anakwambia pesa ya mwanamke ni ya mwanamke, ya mwanaume ni yetu yote. You know, those are some of the statements zenye zinaleta shida in marriage. Yeah. Because a lady, your wife anaweza kuwa akona pesa, but sababu anajua pesa yake ni yake, wewe mwanaume, you are the one to play some of this responsibility. Na when utaki anakuambia nitatafuta mtu wa kunisaidia. You know, hizo ndio vitu zinaleta shida. So we need to do much to empower men, to help them, so, because society inahitaji sisi wote. Whether it's a man, it's a woman, we all have our roles to play in the society to make sure that in society we sanitize the society, we get rid of these violence cases. Hizi cases tunaona every time mtu ameua mwingine, nini imefanyika. We need to come together, kila mtu, all the stakeholders, tufikirie what do we want for our for this generation, because you realize that violence imekuwa for generations, but even the society, the families ina hide because hawataki julikana ati hii boma yetu, because of the class yetu hatutaki isemekane hii inafanyika. Na unaona hiyo kitu ndio inafanya, that's why you can see mtu anajiua. Unasanga huyu mtu akona kila kitu, akona gari, akona kazi mzuri, but anajiua. Unajiuliza why? Because hatutaki kuenda deep tujue huyu mtu pia is a human being, she's a human being. Akona issues, akona shida. We we are not perfect. We are not perfect beings. We have our own issues. The best way is to create a platform, a safe space whereby we can interact, we can talk, we can have a proper communication. Ukiwa na shida, you can cry. Kuna mahali, kuna nafasi where you can cry na mtu anaweza, someone will empathize with you. Mtu atakusikiza na atakusaidia. Ata understand when someone cries, mtu akisema anapitia such issues, usianze kumuuliza mbona nini. No, just muite, mwambie, okay, unapitia hii shida, how can we go about it?
Okay,
unataka usaidizi gani?
Dan, what can women do differently? I'm asking you this before I come to Lilly, because I know Lilly will be violent. How can we be different? How can we treat men differently? I must say that one of the things that has struck me is that all through my life, I've always believed that men don't need to talk about their problems. I was told that if men have problems, they go somewhere, they sit quietly in a corner, and they think about how they are going to solve that problem. Then they come out with a solution. So I'm shocked to hear that men also need to talk to someone. So how can we, I think we women, we don't understand men. Atuwajui. So how can we help you now? I think we need to ask that question.
Yeah, for women, you need to understand your man. You need to understand these are human beings. You need to understand his weaknesses, his strengths, his limitation. Once umemjua hivyo, how this, even emotionally unamjua, so that whenever kuna issue, unajua, hapa kuna issue, let's sit, wacha tukae chini, we have to solve these issues. And then hizo expectation mingi unasema, mwanaume lazima afanye hivi. We are living in a society whereby we need to support each other. Si ati kila kitu ni mwanaume. Right now, women wamekuwa empowered. They have good jobs, wako na kila kitu. Isikuwa hadi sasa ukitoka huko nje, wewe sasa ukiwa job, wewe ni unafanya kazi kubwa. Ukiingia kwa nyumba, rudi kuwa, just be mwanamke mwenye uko kwa nyumba. Usilete kazi yako kwa nyumba. Okay. Yeah, just play your role. Usilete kichwa kwa nyumba. Sometimes hata hizi kazi zinafanya men wana feel insecure because umepata kazi kubwa. So mimi hapa naona kama hapana. Sasa hapa sitaweza. You feel insecure. But most of these issues we need to sit down and talk.
But men are also not very good talkers. Women will complain that they try to initiate conversations. And let me ask this to Lilly. Women complain a lot that women actually are the ones who talk. The women are trying to initiate some kind of a conversation. Is it that we are using the wrong methodology? We don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Are we trying to initiate a conversation by quarreling? Women are trying to quarrel because they want to. Kama mzee amenyamaza. You have tried everything. You have tried to understand. This guy does not have a job. What is happening? What's happening? Do you have money? Have you paid the rent? The guy is just quiet. Now the woman must become nagging, quarrelsome. So, Lilly, what can we do?
Just as Dan has said, know your man. Yeah. His weaknesses, his strength. From there you know how to communicate to him. Because women don't communicate. They make noise.
They shout.
Yeah.
They nag.
They don't quarrel. Yes. Kitu kidogo anaifanya na kuwa mlima. And mwanaume hataki kelele. A man needs step by step. That is why Dan talked. Na amesema vizuri sana. Muelewe. There's a way you communicate to your man. Si ati wanawake saa zingine mko kwa gari mnaenda kazini ndiye anaanza kuongea mambo ya school fees. You look at the time to approach your husband.
Also the timing.
The timing. Mnataka kuingia kwa kitanda unaanza kumwambia shopping list. What do you expect of this man? To keep quiet? Because you are asking the right thing at the wrong time. And you're not asking. You are quarreling. Women shout. They don't communicate. Men are very good listeners. Let me tell you, if there's somebody you can lend an ear, is a man. And believe me, these women are their own enemies too. Because I'd advise you on something the way I deal with my husband. And they are two different people. Yeah. And even me as a person now, as I'm talking to you, I'd rather have a boss that is a man than a woman. You get a woman, you want to go for maternity leave, you have a sick child, that woman will not understand you. Go and explain to a man. This man has never gone to a labor ward, but he will listen to you and he will understand you. Women, we should change the way we communicate. We should understand our husbands, even our own sons. Don't compare your daughter and your son. These people, their growing pattern is different. Their biological factors are different. So you need to understand a man. That's why I say counseling is very important. The moment you're talked to, ukaelezewa mkaenda kumuona mshauri na saha, atakueleza uelewe huyu. Umejua hivi na hivi. You open up unamwelewa. Mimi ni mtu wa kunyamaza. Mimi ni mtu nataka tupeleke vitu wetu hivi. So communication is key, which women don't have. They believe in making noise. Okay. Yeah.
So Dan, when you listen to the men out there, what do they want us as women to do? And how do they, wanataka nini? Ndio mimi I'm keen now. Nimefika mahali, you know, Lilly is always coming here telling me about underlying issues and I don't know, the boy child. Now, today, I don't know, today listening to you, I think, because I have seen you, and I think the ladies out there have seen you.
Yeah.
Suddenly we realize that this thing is not a joke.
Yes. So what you can do, just understand your man.
Okay.
And then don't compare your man to another woman. Another man.
The Joneses.
Usikompare hata to your neighbor. Useme, huyu amefanyia hii mke wake hivi. No. That's a big issue, a big problem. Once you compare your man, unamwambia, hata ex wangu alikuwa ananifanyia hivi, wewe huwezi nifanyia. Those are some of the things that zinafanya mwanaume anakasirika, anachange. Yeah. Okay. The only thing you can do, the moment you understand your man, na umjue kabisa, ile kitu yote unataka atafanya.
Okay.
Yeah, and then musicompete, don't compete with your man. Yeah, peaneni hiyo space. You know, nowadays unapata mwanaume amenunua gari, you want to also take a loan, pia ununue yako.
Mama Harry.
Yeah, the way pia the way muna bring up watoto wenu, you want to compete. Wewe mzazi, wewe baba uonekane, baba akifanya hivi, wewe na wewe unataka kufanya more, ndio pia watoto. Ani you are competing, and watoto unataka mtoto aone kama wewe unafanya more than your husband. Okay. The only thing ni mkuje pamoja, mfanye hizi vitu pamoja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lilly, I wanted to ask about, no, before I go to, what happened to your wife, your ex-wife? Where is she now? What became of her?
Me? Okay, she's out on bond. The case is still pending before court.
Okay.
And yeah, naendelea na maisha yake.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, the kitu muhimu nilifanya in my life was to forgive her. You know, I forgave. It was not an easy decision to make, but I had to, because I just needed some time. I needed space to grow, and I was using a lot of energy, trying to kupanga mambo ya revenge, ile bitterness. So I realized I was wasting my time and causing more problems to my life. So the only thing I had to do is to forgive, so that energy I'm using, I can use it to grow myself to another level. So sometimes you need to forgive, to let it go in order for you to grow. And that's what I did. That's why I don't even have time to focus on what she's doing ama nini, because niliamua nikapata enough time ya kuheal. So I'm focusing the energy that I could have used to kutafuta kupiga simu ako wapi, I'm using it now to change the life of another man, to impact another life out there. Yes.
Lilly, women are increasingly becoming violent. As a parting shot, I want you to say, to talk to them directly to this camera about violence. Women used to be the people who claimed they were beaten, they were assaulted. Now they are assaulting others. What would you like to tell them as a counselor? Okay.
I'd like to tell women, please listen to your husbands, listen to your man, understand, communicate, stop being violent and going overboard, because not many men would come out like Dan. Men are suffering in silence, and these are your husbands. Remember, you have children, you have sons. We are transferring curses to other generations by being violent and not adhering to the Bible and what God wants us to be. For women, please let us just style up and tone down. I know we've been empowered, but let us make a community that is conducive and viable for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. A parting shot from you?
To me, what I can tell those people who are experiencing violence is that don't suffer in silence. Just reach out to anyone, reach out to a genuine friend, not just a friend, a genuine friend. Reach out to a church elder, reach out to your pastor and talk. You know, the moment you talk, you get some healing. Reach out to someone to talk to. You can even go and seek the services of a professional counselor, so that you can get help and sort your issues. And then the other thing you can do, we are there for you. I know people are suffering, and me coming here, me coming out to talk about violence against men, I know my scars, my visible scars represents many invisible scars of oppression, abuse and violence that people are suffering. And my voice speaks for many voices of oppression, abuse and violence that people are battling out there. So I just registered this organization to give these people a platform, and that's why we have the toll-free number 1196. Call this number. There's a professional counselor who is ready to listen to you. He's waiting for you. Call this number, talk, he will listen to you, she will listen to you, and she will help you to sort the issues. So don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence. We are there for you. We have suffered in a lot. So I cannot expect you to also go through the pain I went through. That's why we have the toll-free number 1196. Call and you'll get the help.
Lily, I only want one answer because I have to end this show. One answer. If a man is going through very serious violence, violence ya kupigwa, should he leave the marriage?
No.
Why have you said no?
I've said no because I've told you always there's so many underlying issues. Living is not a solution. You can live and end up in a frying pan. Because you are a human being, you need another wife. So sorting out is the issue.
All right, we've run out of time completely. Thank you so much for watching this show. This was very emotional to me, a very emotive show. I want to say, please have a peaceful week. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Baraka.